VC, Big Star 1000, with mixed bag today. Um, okay, well, I'll start with Friday. So, Friday night, I went to see Life. This band here, which I've been flogging on the VC like you know, like there's no tomorrow. Um, this is their debut album. So they played at the Night Cat, which is a venue in Fitzroy in Melbourne. And so I organised to go with Anthony Camplone. So him and his wife were there, as well as VC watcher Gareth Fitzgerald. So what happened was I originally bought a ticket a spare ticket for Campo, and then I discovered that he'd already bought a ticket himself. So I was interacting with Gareth on the live videos that I do every Saturday night. By the way, I didn't do one last night, but I was just too tired. So I've been interacting with Gareth on the live videos, and I knew he lived in Melbourne. I didn't know very much else about him, so I offered him a ticket. I thought that's a good occasion to meet someone new from the VC, from the vinyl community, and it turned out that it was great. Gareth is a great dude, and in fact, we hung out for the gig on Friday night, but we also hung out today because today I went to the Box Hill Record Fair. Further on that later in the video. If I'm boring you now, just skip to the end of the video. It's not made yet, but it will be. So Mild Life played, and they were superb. They were absolutely on point, sounding exactly like they do on this wonderful, wonderful record. They were just amazing. They were supported. I mean, the icing on the cake is the fact that they chose this band, Crockett Ow, another record flogged to death a couple of years ago on this channel. Crockett Ow supported them, and they would. I mean, for $25 to see those two bands, you could say Mild Life could have just as well supported Crockett Ow. I mean, these guys were that good. Now, this record is not really an indication of what they sound like on stage. It's the second time I've seen Crockett Ow now. The first time was last year. I saw them reinventing the soundtrack to Fantastic Planet. So basically what they did was they rewrote the score to the La Planète Sauvage, the classic French movie, classic Czech movie, but scored by a French guy. And they played along the movie at the cinema. It was amazing. And on this they're a 3-piece, and now they're a 4-piece, and they're so much better, and they're funky, and they go into the saxophone on stage is amazing. It's sort of part Pink Floyd, part Sun Ra, part Popol Vuh, part Ornette Coleman, part Weather Report. They're just the best band to see live. I mean, so those two were amazing, and so I saw them with Campo, his wife, and Gareth, and that was great. And then prior to all this happening, I had this saga with my Cartridge. I explained that in the live video last week. I wanted to upgrade a 2M Blue, Autophone 2M Blue, to a 2M Black. And I thought, well, it's pretty straightforward. Take it to the shop, pay the money, they put the cartridge, voila, we're cooking with gas. But didn't really work that way, because the cartridge, in my opinion, was defective. So I went back and forth, and it was kind of very stressful. Everything is stressful to me at the moment, because I'm in a state of mind which, I mean, you understand. If you watch these videos, my current situation. And little things like that can be an immense bother to a person like me at the moment. So I negotiated with the guys, and in the end, I thought, well, I'll pay a bit more, just take the cartridge off, and I opted for a moving coil. This is the moving coil Autophon Quintet Black S, which is basically the top of the range in those in this series. So it was an extra $300 on top of. But my word, money well spent. This is the best sounding piece of gear. Honestly, it is just incredible. The detail, the clarity, and I haven't even worn it in. I can only imagine that after a month of listening to records, it's going to sound like. I mean, admittedly, with moving coil, you can't change the stylus. You have to change your cartridge. Once it's gone, it's gone. But geez, that sounds so beautiful. So these are records here that I'm going to show you, which I have played since Friday. So yesterday, Saturday, all day long I played records. The first record that I heard on the cartridge was Rumors, and that was at the shop. We tested the cartridge with Rumors at the shop, so that was kind of cool to hear. I love Rumors. It reminds me a lot of Sarah too, so it's lovely to put that record on first. But when I went home, straight away, I cracked out my Japanese copy of Hunky Dory. This is a Japanese press. Sounds wonderful. And did it deliver? My goodness, it's another world. I mean, crisp and because I know this back to front. I know Hunky Dory. It's probably one of these albums that I've played the most in my life, and it just sounded so incredibly crisp. By the way, if you don't know Hunky Dory, watching this and get it, it's wonderful. These are other records that I played, and there's a range of records. So I was pulling different styles of music just so that I could hear, and I wasn't disappointed. This cartridge, I can only highly recommend it. Luckily, with my new amplifier, my Yamaha AS1100, which is a brand new amp that I got about a couple of months back, it's got a moving coil switch. So, I mean, if you don't have a moving coil switch on your amplifier, you will need a preamp, a phono preamp. But, mine works perfectly well. Sounds awesome. I mean, the record I'm playing at the moment, I've never heard that sound from that record, just to tell you. So, these are records that I played. I played Niño Jojo by Devendra Banhart, which is his 2000. In fact, these are two records, and it's 2004 release. We used to play Niño Jojo to death here with Sarah. We used to play it so much. She absolutely loved this record. So it's great to hear it again with different ears. But it's a wonderful record. If you don't know, it's kind of like you'd call it acid folk, but a modern freak folk, they called it at the time. There's this whole school with Joanna Newsom and PG6 and all sorts of different artists, Akron Family and all sorts of. They had this scene going, and he was kind of like the poster boy of the freak folk in the early 2000s. This sounded absolutely marvelous. I don't think I've heard this record until yesterday. I mean, it just sounded. So this is Milton Nascimento and Lo Borges, Clube de Esquina, or the Esquina, perhaps, which is a Brazilian classic. It's a double album, sprawling epic with I think somewhere I remember reading somewhere saying that it's the Brazilian Sgt. Pepper's, which is an interesting description, but it's just a brilliant, lush, orchestrated record. you could call it Baroque psych kind of, but I pulled out one of my favorites, Alain Peters, the troubadour from Reunion Island, the as I like to call him, the Nick Drake from the Leonard Cohen of the Indian Ocean. Yes, that's it. Reunion Island is next to Madagascar, and this guy, a very tragic story, but I highly recommend this to anybody. This is island folk music with a twist, and the type of music it is saga, but it's not the sort of like dancey saga. It's really like mournful and like it's all on homemade instruments. He died of a heart attack when he was barely 40, probably about my age. I cracked at my copy of McDonald's and Giles, obviously a VC classic. I remember probably doing a video on this. I've been in VC for what, 8 years now, maybe, and in the first month on the VC I did a video on this record, and I still stand by that statement. It's a classic record. There were the kind of the rhythm section, no, not quite, part of the backing band in King Crimson on the first record, on the Court of the Crimson King. Really, really, really funky record. Amazing. On the Beach, again, I don't think I've heard the track On the Beach until I heard it on my new cartridge. Honestly, it just sounded explosive. Brilliant. I pulled out Osibisa. I hadn't played this for a long time. Kind of a British Afro-funk, kind of Afro-prog band. And I think their debut album with the Roger Dean cover. Sublime record, really cheap, really easy to get. I love this. The MCA Sound Conspiracy. Sound Conspiracy. I listened to Elliott Smith, Either Or, which is my original press on Kill Rock Stars. I mean, this guy is just about, my favorite singer-songwriter of the 90s, really. And I just adore him. He's brilliant. Shame he committed suicide, but up to that point, I still view EXO as one of my top 10 favorite records. Really solidly believe that. If I was to make a top 10, EXO would definitely be in there. No introduction needed. So wonderful records. Nick Drake. We're going to talk about those records. You know them. Funnily enough, I decided to revisit the second Chicago record. I've only got 2 Chicago records. I've got the Chicago Transit Authority, which is the debut album, and I've got this one here, Chicago 2. This is a great record. This is a great horn rock record. If you like Blood, Sweat and Tears and the like, this is... I mean, after that, I don't think I can listen to Chicago. The first 2 records are brilliant. They're kind of psychedelic, and the songwriting is top notch. Then I wanted to hear some delicate solo piano, so I went and I played the first record of this. It's a 3 record set. Keith Jarrett's the Bremen concert. Oh, that sounded really, really, really crisp. Wonderful, wonderful. I'm not exaggerating. Really amazing sound that you can get out of this cartridge. And then in the evening, I was, slow down the mood and put a bit of Coltrane on, Blue Train, which is the 75th anniversary copy, and a little bit of Arabic meets jazz kind of. This is a lovely record too, Between Dusk and Dawn. Rabbi Abu Khil, who plays the oud and the flute, with Charlie Mariano and stuff. So this is like a jazz record, but with a real deep oriental flavor. Beautiful, really, really stunning. A stunning, stunning record. Between Dusk and Dawn. This is the your gatefold there. Top notch. And today I revisited Gruppo d'Improvvisazione Nuova Consonanza. This is the Ennio Morricone e Egistomaki collaboration. It's a library record that was put out on Roundtable Record a few years ago, and a lot of people got this back in the day. It's great. Susie and the Banshees, Juju, Killer. I'm just going fast because, I played the first record of Calexico this morning before going to the record fair. Feast of Wire. This is an absolute masterpiece, this record, by the way. There's two guys, Joey Convertino and whatever the other guy's name is. They just really bring it on with this. This is their best record, I think, by a country mile. Feast of Wire. When I came back from the fair, I played the Grodeck Whipper Jenny, which is a psych funk record on People Records, which was James Brown's label, and this is well worth getting. It's an obscure classic of sorts. It's a psychedelic funk record from 1974 or something like that. After much badgering from Mr. Fatboy 79, he kept saying, "Oh, you gotta get the answer." I was in a shop about 2 weeks ago, and it appeared in front of me, so I bought it. I've played it only once. I like it. It's good. It is a good record. The Other Side of the River. Terry Reid, the guy who was almost the Led Zeppelin singer, almost, but I'm glad he wasn't because I prefer him. And just before this video, I was playing Gary Barts, NTU Troop, Ireland Bush Music. Wonderful, 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 wonderful record. Absolutely essential soul jazz. Essential, really. Nothing less. And now, I'm playing Larache Ambient 3. Day of Radiance, Larache and Brian Eno. This sounds good. Okay. So, let me talk about the record fair because we're here. So what I'll do is I'll put a bit of footage here and I'll keep talking. And then what I will finish off with is I'm going to show you the records I picked up at the record fair. I haven't listened to any of them. In fact, they're not even in the sleeves. They're drying on a rack at the moment because I washed them all. So, without further ado. So we went to the Box Hill Record Fair. This is the Box Hill Town Hall, as you can see. That's where it is held every time. Box Hill is somewhere in between where I live and the city centre of Melbourne. So the fair, as you can see, as usual, people digging everywhere. Just pure joy, records. And as I explained at the start of the video, I met up with Gareth Fitzgerald. Here he is, the man in all his glory, digging through boxes and boxes of records and trying to unearth those gems, with Cyborg, Klaus Schulze, and we just did a lot of digging together and looked at lots and lots of sellers and just shared a few things and bought each other's records and bought each other records rather than each other's record. It was a really, really cool morning, and we even got to have a bite together. Oh, here's McDonald Giles again. Yeah, we had a bite together. It was cool. It was we went for dumplings, and we are going to do some sessions together, some listening sessions because he lives in Melbourne. That's cool to meet someone new with a fresh perspective, new ideas and stuff. So at the fair, I bought about maybe 12 records. Now I must admit, it's my birthday tomorrow, so I treated myself a bit because you know, that's what you do, especially when you're, in my current situation. You need all the treats you can get. But yeah, we had a great time, and it was just fun to dig. And he even picked up a copy of Tusk, which is wonderful. Here are the records that I picked up at the record fair. As I said, I haven't listened to any of them. Well, actually, the first one I know very well, but I haven't listened to that record per se. So, all right, here are some records that I picked up at the fair. Now, this is the expensive item. This is an early pressing of Can's Tago Mago. It wasn't cheap, I must admit, but I thought, treat myself to, it's my birthday, treat myself to something significant, sizable, wonderful. This is a French pressing. I think the first French press of it. Wonderful piece of music. This is my third copy of. Now I've got a copy on record, and I've got obviously. The very first one I ever got was this one, which is from 2003 or 4. 2004, I think. I bought this. Okay. I picked up a copy of Friends, which is a jazz fusion, an American jazz fusion record featuring John Abercrombie. It's a great little record. I haven't listened to it yet, but I'm looking forward to it. This is from 1972. Yes, it's got Mark Cohen on alto sax, Jeff Williams on drums, Clint Houston on bass, and John Abercrombie on guitar. I took a punt on this. I don't know what it's worth. This is Terusama Hino live at the Berlin Jazz Festival 71. Couldn't resist. Japanese jazz is really it's like clickbait for me, fantastic. That was cheap. I don't know why, I was seduced by this beautiful original press of this jazz record. I don't even know what it's going to be worth, what it's going to be like, but I just took a punt. This is Dizzy Gillespie live at the Village Vanguard. It just looked cool. I just couldn't help. I like some Dizzy Gillespie. I don't like all Dizzy Gillespie, but some of it is actually quite good and quite. I like his Latin records, things that he made for Pablo and stuff. So I just took a chance. Doesn't matter. It's just sometimes they can change. See, I'm one of these people who doesn't wander around with my my mobile phone checking everything, because basically I don't have the internet on my phone. It's true. So I have to just think about it. This is Mike Westbrook, UK jazz, doing William Blake. So I don't know what it's worth, but I love love songs by Mike Westbrook. So it's his big band again. Big band was cheap, and I thought I'd take a chance on that. I scored a really nice copy of New Values by Iggy Pop, which is the album that contains I'm Bored. I'm the chairman of the board. Yes, indeed. We all know Iggy. I scored a cheap copy of Dixie Chicken by Little Feat. I'm really back into listening to Little Feat at the moment. I think they're a massively underrated band, and this is probably one of their better records, with Selling Shoes as well. And I love Lowell George. I think Lowell George is a genius, personally. This is going to be funky, I think. It's going to be great. This was bought... basically, I spotted it at the end of our dig, and I didn't have any cash left. So Gareth just, bought it for me. But I bought him a record as well, so we're kind of even, sort of. Chapaka. So this is a movie soundtrack. Again, I haven't listened to any of these, so I couldn't tell you. This is a Filipino record, like a funky Filipino record by Freddie Aguilar, Anak. You know, it was not too expensive. It's a bit beat, but you know. And then finally, this wonderful record, which I have on CD, but it's great to have it on record. Tumani Diabate Kara, the king of the Kora himself. So these are the records that I picked up at the fair. I hope you enjoy this, and speak to you soon, YouTube and VC.